Well, hey! I'm in me civvies. Right. Part 3. Confessions of a Closet Fatty. Being me. I'm using myself as an example, but this is about you too. Okay? And you'll hopefully be realising that by now. So if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, they are on YouTube, they're on my website, they're on my Facebook feed further down here. Go and have a look at them. It's how I spent 10 years in the gym, doing lots of stuff and never got any results, and I got really pissed off with that. And then the second one is about the struggles I had within myself that I needed to get past to be able to make it work. It wasn't just about going to the gym or doing exercise or whatever. It was getting past the stuff that was inside my head to get me to where I wanted to be. Okay, so part 3, Russ is on. Hello. Now, so at the end of the last one, I was stuck. I'd tried everything. I'd done a PT course. I'd learned about this stuff, but there was still a stupid amount of stuff that I didn't know. And I'd already spent a ton of money on it. I'd spent about $3 grand on learning this stuff, and I still didn't know what to do. Okay, I got the results I wanted. I finally lost weight, but I worked out that wasn't what I wanted. That wasn't it. I got too skinny, and I didn't like that either. So I'd worked out what I wanted, and then decided it wasn't what I wanted once I got it, which is a nightmare because it took me 13 years to get there. Okay, so I decided to work out what I did want, and what I did want, what I finally worked out was actually I wanted to be strong. The problem I'd had my whole life was I'd never ever been strong. Never. And I worked out that no matter how much running I did or rowing or whatever, it wouldn't make me strong. It would make me fitter, but it wouldn't make me stronger. So what I did was I got into strength training. I contacted a guy. I looked at a course that someone told me was the best course. I contacted a guy in Bristol who'd done it and said, you know, what's the best way to get into this? And he said, do strong first. It's the best thing ever. Okay, so I had a look at it and it looked really hard. And the reason why people don't do this course is because it's too hard. Okay, it's too hard. And I looked at it and I was like, that's going to be really hard. And he said, oh, the next one, this was in August 2014. He said, the next one's in November. Okay. Now, I was chucking around 2 16-kilogram kettlebells at this time, which isn't very much. And you had to pass the course with 224s at the time. It's different now, but you had to pass it with 224s. And that to me was ridiculous. But I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do it. So I booked the course. I was like, right, this guy knows what he's talking about. I booked the course. It was in November. I had 3 months to train for it. 3 months, okay? Which isn't very long. But I was like, this is the last ditch attempt and this is what I'm going to do. Okay? So I did the 3 months worth of training, which was really hard because I was still getting over my desk posture. I had really weak shoulders. Like I said, I've never been considered strong. One of my mates, the same guy who used to call me vinegar tits back in the day, which I went on about in another video because I had a pair, he used to take the piss out of me saying I wouldn't be able to lift like a cotton bud with two polo mints on the end above my head because my shoulders were so weak. Okay, I had sore knees and sore hips from doing loads of running, and my mobility was poor. Getting my arms above my head was tight, my hips were tight. I was out of condition. And this was after being doing loads of running and rowing and moving quickly. So moving quickly when you're out of condition in that way is a recipe for injury. So anyway, I booked this course for the November. I had 3 months to train for it. It cost me 1,500 quid just to do the course. So Uday's on. Uday knows about this because I met him just after I'd done it. Yeah, I spent 1,500 quid on this course. It was 3 full-on days away. 3 full-on days away to go and learn. 3 full days. Okay. So I turned up. This was my last chance to do it before I gave up. Okay. So I was like, right, I'm going to spend money on this. I spent 1,500 quid on it. Hello, man. Spent 1,500 quid on this. That's a lot of money for 3 days, but I knew it would be worth it, right? So It was my last chance. Otherwise, I was going to give up and go and get a job somewhere and not do what I was doing. So anyway, it was at the time it was the hardest thing I'd ever done. Right, 3 full-on days. Right, anyone who's done this, Ben is on. He knows what I'm talking about. The Strong First Level 1. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done. It was a ridiculous weekend, but I learned so much from it. That it was 3 days, but it's not 3 days that just like go bang like that, you know everything. It's 3 days that just completely changes where you're at. The guy, one of the master instructors who was there, this guy Dave Whitley, look him up. He's the Iron Tamer, they call him, because he bends metal and all of this sort of stuff. So he was there teaching us the principles of how to get strong. And he said, you know, there was a quote he came up with. Let's say, I've just thought about it, I just remembered this now. But he said, like, you know, I think it's the iron ore as it goes through the forge thinks it's being needlessly tortured, okay. But the tempered steel blade at the other end looks back and knows better, okay. Which I thought was a great quote. I've probably not got that perfect, but basically that's what he said. He said, you're being tempered this weekend. You're coming in soft. You're being tempered. You're being beaten around. However, you'll come out the other end stronger. And this is like that's through everything that you do in life. You know, you've got to go through some discomfort to come out stronger at the other side. So that was where I came out of that weekend, and I was just like completely like, right, I know exactly where I'm going now. I know what I want. So I set up Bath Kettlebell Society off the back of that. I was like, right, I'm doing this. Thank you, Ben. I was like, right, I'm doing this. So I took what I'd learned from that, set up Bath Kettlebell Society, and the principles from what I'd learned that weekend kept me going for ages. And they're still keeping me going now. I still do, because you use these principles and you build on them. But then you always come back to them. They're always there to come back to. It's a base level of principles, the very basics. Get good at the basics, and the rest is attainable. Okay? So after that, I went on to pass my level 2 6 months later, which was harder. Still, you have to prove yourself even more. There's in the level 1, there's like a 30% failure rate, or there was at the time. You know, so it's tough. It was really hard, and I've been learning ever since. So like since then, I've been learning a lot of stuff based around these same principles. I haven't gone off and said, right, I've done that, now I'm going to learn about bodybuilding. Now I'm going to go and learn about running marathons and all that. I'm not interested in that, because it's not my thing. It's not what I want to do. What I want to learn is it got me over my desk posture. It got me stronger. It stopped things hurting. It got my shoulders moving again. It stopped my knees hurting. It stopped my hips hurting. And this is what I want to do for you, right? This is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm doing these videos, this 3 parts, because it takes you right from where I started, which is probably where you're at now, but it took me up until then, which was 2014, so what's that, 3 years ago, so yeah, 30 years, so it took me 13, 14 years to get to that point. And it cost me a lot of money along the way as well, and a lot of time, so I want to save you all that time and money by getting you there quicker, okay? So, just a quick example to show you this. Dave, this was an example from today. I was in the park with Dave today and a few other people, and Dave had been struggling with his shoulder from the start. He told me on the very first week that he had weird shoulders, and I was like, "Oh yeah, your shoulders are the same as everyone else." No, I've got weird shoulders, right? And it finally clicked this week what I've been going on about. And he started in May, so June, July, August, September. It's taken him 5 months. He's been progressing over those 5 months. But it finally all started to click this week. And he said he felt a lot more confident with it. And he said it's the first thing in fitness that he's ever done that he wants to stick at. That he's kind of realised, this is for me, this is going to make a massive difference. And he said that today, and it was great. And he kind of went, you know, he's kind of like got addicted to it. But he hasn't got addicted to the actual training. He's got addicted to the feeling it gives him afterwards, the feeling of being strong, the feeling of not being in pain anymore, not being injured. He used to play football. He's had various injuries over his time. And, you know, and he was like, it kind of finally sunk in. Actually, this is what it does. It makes you feel great. It makes you feel great, and that's why I do these videos. That's why I've set BKS up, because I want to give that to other people, because it made me feel great. It continues to make me feel great. I continue to get fitter, stronger, and it feels just so good. I don't know how to describe it, because it makes you feel like you can do anything. Like I said at the time, that 3-day course was the hardest thing I've ever done. I've gone on to do harder things than that in different things, like the 70-odd mile walk I did. That took me 30 hours in one go without stopping. I mean, that's not easy. Going overnight, not sleeping, having to eat along the way, all of that. That's not easy. Steve's on as well. I've just posted a video from a year ago. Steve started about a year ago, and Steve watched it and said, "Blimey, look at me! I'm knackered just chucking a 16 kilo around." And he does way more than that now. That was a year ago. And he's like, "God, that look." He kind of looks back on it and says, "I can't really believe that." So that's in a year. So there we go. Now I've got a 2-week trial start next Monday. So if you want to be in on that and the chance to win 500 quid at Christmas, then you need to be on it. So hit me up, or if you're on my email list, you click the link in there, or you click the link on my website to get on it. Exactly, it's proof. And so if you don't live in Bath, or you can't make that trial, or what, for any reason, whatever, which is probably an excuse, but I'll not go into that. That's for a different time. Click the link below, and there's a free program in there for you, which is based around all of this. It's basically everything that got me to where I am now, my final moment when I realised this is what I need to do. So I've done loads of stuff before, and then I finally realised this is what I need to do. And from then on, that's what I've been doing. So that's what's in the program below. That's where I started. So it started me out to get where I am now. Okay? So if you want to know more about BKS or anything, go to the website, hit me up, ask a question, hit me up on here, send me an email, whatever. Or just hit the link and find out a bit more in there. There you go. All done. Right. I've got to go to Newcastle now. So, talk to you tomorrow.